Greetings, comrades. Hope this finds you well. Pretty interesting article I came across that Tara Reade wrote at RT. Definitely check out her work there. This article included, I'll link this down below, and the title of it, and I think it's a fair question, is why exactly are Trump's records from January 6th fair game, but Biden's decade-old Senate records aren't? So let's check it out. And I think she makes a compelling case that definitely Biden's records should be, fair game. Like what is he hiding? What does he think is in those Senate records that could be damaging to him? And I think we know the answer. We think that, there's going to be that report in there showing that Tara Reade, filed that complaint that she was being, sexually harassed, sexually assaulted by Joe Biden when she was a Senate staffer for her, back when that was happening, right? Tara Reade, why exactly are Trump's records from January fair game, but Biden's decade-old Senate files not? And I mean, if you're not a partisan hack, I think you can see that it's pretty problematic for, Trump's records to be, provided and Biden's, Senate records to not be, right? I think you got to be a partisan hack to see, okay, if one's fair game, then the other one should be as well, right? University of Delaware is refusing to release Biden's Senate records, which were donated in 2012. Meanwhile, the Trump White House's communications apparently can be released to the January 6th Commission. I find this curious. The Roman Empire had its own megalomaniacs, and the U.S. is no different, 100%. Congress and the White House are trying to hold on to every ounce of profit and power squeezed from its citizens' labor in a manner not dissimilar to Caesar. As such, I have no interest in defending oligarchs, Republicans, Donald Trump, or Democrats, 100%. It's the whole corporate duopoly that needs to go. Capitalism is the virus. And they certainly do not require it. However, the Department of Justice working on behalf of Biden, like a litigious Praetorian Guard, to go after certain individuals is a political hypocrisy deserving attention. And again, this whole, January 6th commission thing, like really, is this really of the, Congress? I forget, what body doing that. I mean, Jesus fucking, maybe give people housing, maybe give people health care, maybe give people a living wage, survival checks, mental health care, a Green New Deal, so we have an inhabitable planet to live on, maybe dismantling the U.S. empire, the prison industrial complex, the concentration camps at the border, maybe stopping the mass deportations, abolishing ICE, Border Patrol. Like, there's a whole lot of other shit that would greatly improve the material conditions for the working class here and abroad that they could be focusing their time on instead of this fucking stupid, ridiculous commission that's not going to help the working class, the most vulnerable and marginalized among it in any substantial way, right? Judicial Watch, joined by the media groups, is suing the University of Delaware Biden Senate files to the public, and those may be the written sexual harassment complaint I filed with the Senate and notes regarding the events in '93. Biden donated his voluminous collection of almost 2,000 files spanning the last 3 decades for safekeeping to his alma mater in 2012. Case reopening the files is now awaiting a decision from the Delaware State Supreme Court. And again, if the Delaware State Supreme Courts, if the people on it aren't liberal, aren't democratic hacks, they would rule for these to be opened up, right? This is in the public interest. We should know what is in those files. And again, the Biden team, the University of Delaware running cover for Biden, shows exactly why they do. If there is smoke, there is fire, right? Joe Biden struggles to explain why he can't search Tara Reade's name in his Delaware record. He's such a fucking hack. University of Delaware replied to inquiries for release by media, lawyers, and me personally that the FOIA Act does not apply. Joe Biden's office stated that to open the sealed files would not be in the public. How would it not be in the public interest? It is acutely in the public interest. Like, it is in the public interest to know if that file is in there because, obviously it probably, I would say there's a very high likelihood that it is, and that's why University of Delaware, Biden, his team, is fighting tooth and nail to make sure the public doesn't know about his, really fucked up past and what he did and put Tara Reade through, right? I was sent curt replies via email by the university that they would not search or provide my inquiry for the document. If it is there, it is buried under literally thousands of documents pertaining to Joe Biden's political legacy. Unsurprisingly, the Biden admin takes a very different view of Donald Trump's privacy emails. Emails, visitor logs, and communications from his time as president apparently should not be under executive privilege and should be released in public interest. How can it be that Senate files from decades ago, presumably with little information that be considered sensitive to national security, cannot be released, but detailed goings on from earlier this year can be paraded before public by grandstanding Democrats for political gain? Again, that's all it is. It's not improving the working conditions, the lives of me or you, of other working class people. It's all a political show. It's a farce. Double standard would be shocking if it weren't so eye-rollingly predictable. Another distraction the press, healing to their corporate overlords, are gleefully reporting is the search of a house they thought belonged to Russian businessman Oleg Deripaski in D.C. that actually belonged to a member of his family. Report he is close to Putin, but this is just a well-trodden, meandering path to resurrect the Russia meddled with our election 2016 trope because everything ill is the fault of malevolent Moscow or China these days, right? I mean, Rachel Maddow makes millions driving this tedious narrative home with shrill warnings piped in Americans' living rooms every weeknight. Deripaska's delightfully sarcastic response to the FBI was so amusing I laughed out loud, as it reminded me of something my equally sardonic great-grandmother would have said. What mind-blowing sums of Putin's money did you find yesterday in those abandoned houses? Did you grab and enjoy the jam that went off in their pantry or the vodka like the Bolshevik dogs used to during their searches? I'm so sick of these fucking jokers. That's pretty funny. All right. Scroll down. Why are you frozen? There we go. Looks like another article there. My computer is going just extremely slow. What the fuck? Russian billionaire. Okay, that was. I go back to this one. Here we go. Can Hillary please accept the 2016 election over she lost, not because of the machinations of perfidious Putin, but because of the vast swaths of the nation found her so repellent on a personal and political level, they decided the guy from The Apprentice was a better choice, right? Instead of the DOJ looking at the true political corruption permeating our government, the feds are weaponizing to raid homes on suspicion of being owned by Russia, and this useless exercise is nothing but media theater. Again, it's just a huge, distraction from complete failing by both Democrats and Republicans to improve the material conditions of anybody besides the capitalist class, which are obviously already doing quite well. Rather than bothering the relatives of people not actually in a position of power in the U.S., whereas the investigation into Joe Biden for what he did to me when I was a young staffer, or about the Burisma folly that was not, in fact, Russian disinformation was told last October. Again, that was, Joe Biden, that was Hunter Biden, right? Sat on this Burisma natural gas firm, this Ukrainian natural gas firm, getting paid, it's like 50, 75,000, something like that, an insane amount a month when he had actually no experience in that field whatsoever. Why would they do that? Probably to curry favor with Joe Biden, right? Democrats claimed it was all made up, but physical evidence from Hunter Biden's laptop left behind during his drug-fueled sex escapades revealed how dodgy the Biden dealings appear to be. We won't hear peep about that, lest it throw shade on the president's folksy ice cream loving image. Meanwhile, the criminal proceedings against Trump associates march on, now including Steve Bannon. In the 90s, I worked as a political operative on several campaigns. The vernacular was that of battle. Campaign headquarters, blue or red, have war rooms. This win at all cost attitudes revealed the darker side of the supposedly caring left. Human rights violations are weaponized for one side or the other. In the end, no one wins, least of all the American people. I found the lengths that people went in order to protect and raise their candidates beyond distasteful. It was frightening. And I was back in the comparatively gentle 1990s, not in the social media shit show of 2021. As the corporate fools who fancy themselves all powerful drive our country into the ruin, let them investigate each other. The political discourse continues to devolve for one reason: deflection. 100%, yes. Deflection from the collapse of America's infrastructure, poverty, unemployment, no healthcare system, endless wars lining the pockets of defense contractors, American oligarchs hoarding 80% of American wealth for 1/10 of 1% of the population. It's an empire in decline, 100%. It is in decline. Greed fueled ignorance, bigotry, and lack of vision. America stands precarious as these mad, senile politicians play games with all our collective future. It's sickening. Like the story, share it with a friend. Definitely recommend you share this on your social media platforms. Tara does, great work, excellent article, and that title says it all. Like, it's very hypocritical that Trump's records are fair game, but Biden's decades-old Senate files are not. And obviously, University of Delaware, Democratic defenders of Joe Biden don't want those records to be released because the more often I think they realize that no, like Joe Biden is like, he did some fucked up shit, and that would be revealed by that sexual harassment complaint that Tara Reade filed against him in, I believe it was 1993, right? So kudos to Tara for speaking out about it then, and then speaking out about it now, and just really disgusting how she has been treated, especially by the liberal media, Democratic politicians, and their defenders. Like the whole Me Too movement went out the gate when it was Biden, but it's fair game if it's against Trump. No, have some fucking ethical principles and standards. It's fucked up when anybody sexually harasses, assaults, somebody else. Doesn't matter if there's a D or a R next to their name, right? Have some moral fucking consistency. Take a fucking stand. If it's wrong, it's wrong. It should be called out. So kudos to Tara. She definitely deserves all of our support, right? Like the video if you like the damn video, subscribe for more content, all part of the people. Quick shout out to the 2 Uber comrades supporting my channel and this content. Patreon, my partner, and Independent Left News. Check them out. They are a great resource. Peace.